New episode. Went in to look at my car and big king brown snake of wiring, and I don't want to do that. But pretty much I've got to get it in this pile. Oh, that's my roof lining. That I cut down. But pretty much I've got to get in this pile and try and find all the other bits of the wiring harness that I kind of just went. And I think a big tip for when you're fucking pulling that stuff out is to somehow mark it, like with little sticky tags and just put on a marker, or like I had one of those put the thing in and then you press print and it like prints a little sticky thing. I had one of them, but I've got a couple wiring diagrams like lights, fuel stuff, and pretty much I'm gonna like unravel this, all the insulation black stuff on it, and then it'll just be a big mess, of wiring stuff out. So I've got to thin it down, change some Deutsch plugs. What else? Yeah, and then try and plug it back in. Don't do this. It's a bag of bolts. Don't do that. Screw the bolts back in the holes when you pull them out. The handles when like you're driving with your mum. Yeah, bro, where are my parts, mum? Where are they? That's Stacy's mum. God. Alternator. This has got like the speaker, its wiring harness, and then it like goes up, and I think it's got like the little kind of airbag, I don't know, something or other. I'm taking an adventure back to my car. Right, so now I've painted these two fuel tank mounts. The engineer had to see it, and he wanted me to like use crush tubes in there, so I've got a tube that runs through there, so all this part is sealed off. Yeah, painted them a nice glossy black, and right now I've got the wiring harness all stripped back. It's an absolute mess. I think like what I've got to do is go through, and I have started making a list of what wires are important, what wires I do need, what wires I don't need. I'm doing it a bit later than I should be. But pretty much I'm waiting now to paint this thing, as in I can, like it's all sanded back now, I can go bog it, sand it, bog, sand, prime, and then paint it. The engineer wants to see it when it's all painted, interior's done, wiring's done, all that. He doesn't care about the tray. So really what I'm aiming for is to just get the cab done. Now I've got wires everywhere. And what I've done is I've taken the 10 wires, so there's a couple from here, a couple from, so they're just relays for fuel stuff or something, I don't know. There's 10 wires past this main plug in the system, and 4 of them run for tail lights. Another 5 go to the sub tank, and then there's 1 earth. So right now I'm pretty much going through all this and cutting out everything that I don't need, which will hopefully leave me with the stuff I do need and should work. But it's like 8:30. Done this for 2 days straight now, just work on it for ages. And oh bloody hope this works, eh? We're gonna change all these plugs to Deutsch plugs so they're waterproof and whatnot, because they're going to be run along the chassis, and I'm going to cut a heap out.
Like them, they suss me out and then they ghost. Girls like me, I like a magnet to a knife. Can like a lighter from the ocean. I sell them my emotion and show them my like them.
Well, I'm at home and yeah, not at the shop anymore, but pretty much I've done all the wiring. I've wrapped the harness in like fabric tape. Yeah, and it's Sunday afternoon, just chilling out. Got my trusty steed, just working in between here and there, working on my car. And pretty much what I've done now is I've started bog. So I've got, this is a bog I've got, 3 litres of that bare gold stuff. I don't know, it's just what the shop gave me. Colour Stop in Toowoomba, good place. The beer paint really good, so I've got all that as well for it. But I've started bogging this, so pretty much like I wasn't sure how it was gonna go, but I don't know, first time for everything I suppose. So paint scraper, sheet of steel that I've just been using for mixing it up. Pretty much little bits at a time. You add in the catalyst, that stuff's like, it makes it go hard, sort of like a 2-pack epoxy almost. And the ratio is 100:3, so you pretty much get a couple scoops of the body filler onto that plate, and I'll run a little bead of that stuff on the side, mix it all up. You can see it start to go a bit more tacky, and then I'm spreading it on, and you can see by my strokes there, I'm pretty much just going up and down. These spots are a little bit harder to do, but I'm trying to keep it as neat as possible because, you know, it creates less sanding for later. But yeah, and then what I've got is some 320 grit sheets of wet sandpaper. So that's to touch up all around the like the panels, like these half of the doors, that, you know, you touch up the clear coat and then you can paint straight over the top of that in theory. What else have I got? Oh, I've got some flapper discs. They're just to tidy up the window panel, because you can see that's still all a bit rough. The window, I've got rubber, a custom made rubber for that. So that's a locking rubber from Clark Rubber. I can't remember the dimensions or the measurements on how it is. I think it's pretty standard though. And that's a 79 series rear window. Yeah, so pretty much I tested it last night. The window fits. I need to polish up a few more things here and there, but that's a given. And yeah, well, I'll show you that wiring harness as well. So Deutsch plug, ABS, the main harness which runs into the Deutsch plug, the fuel stuff, that was already a waterproof plug, I didn't need to change that. I split the harness here. This goes to the fuel stuff and like for the sub tank. This is for the lights, and part of it, as you run back, part of it goes to the trailer plug, and then this is for all my other lights, like that are going to be actually on the tray. And yeah, pretty much that's it. Like, I've still got a massive mess of wiring inside, and I've still got a little bit of seam sealing to do. So it's pretty much like sort of like a tube of silicone, but you know, fill all the little holes and that sort of thing, and yeah, seams really. So if you look here, you can see that there's light through it's a bit dark in there, but you can see that there's light through the top of those corrugations. I'll pretty much go up in the interior and just cover that in a little bit of a bead, and then it's sprayable, so it'll harden. Yeah, sort of like, it's basically just like a silicone type of thing. It's polyurethane though. And then yeah, that pretty much hardens, and there you go. Bob's your uncle. You bloody got sealed seams. I'm just gonna continue bogging here. I've still got the roof to do. I've still got a little bit down the sides, but pretty much I'm not too worried about. As you can see, I'm really aiming to get all the actual bar done. The back, for example, it's already pretty clean. Like the welds are pretty nice. As you can see, the welds are pretty nice. There's nothing much to worry about there. This is really the only extent I'm going to. There's a little bit of a ridge there. That's what the body fill is really for, just leveling out ridges like that. And then pretty much once that's all dry, I'm going to go over with an orbital sander. I've got some 80 grit pads here. 80 grit. That's just their 5-inch 80 grit pads. Go over that. It'll smooth the bog out. You don't want to be too harsh or too rough on it, because it will just rip chunks of it off. That's if I've done it right, I think. I don't know. First time for everything. I don't know what I've done. But yeah, and I think the main thing with bog is you have to do it in small batches, have the surface nicely prepped. Like for example, mine was I wire wheeled everything, and that back to bare shiny metal gives it a good surface to stick to. And I think that's really about it. Like, yeah, I don't think there's too much to it. Like, I don't know if the ratios that I'm making with the little tube of catalyst and whatnot, I don't know. It's really just a bit of a wing job. Like, I've never painted a car before. I've never put body filler on a car before. I don't know. It seems to be going alright though. So, we'll keep going.
Style is the answer to everything. A fresh way to approach a dull or dangerous thing. To do a dangerous thing with style is what I call art.
Right, it's early morning. I was up 12:30 last night, and this is what we're looking at. So we had this slab because there's an extension being put on our house, and it's not going to be built upon for months, and we don't have any other free space, so wheeled it up here. And yeah, so today I'm going to be aiming to paint it, and I think it's on its third round of bog. I'm pretty happy with it. If there's any little pinholes that I can't see, then the hardener and the primer will fill them. But this is all the gear we've got. So we've got 2 lots of that's just the primer, and then the hardener for the primer. Brand new 1.4mm, gravity fed 1.4mm nozzle gun. That's what you need for automotive painting. Reducer, thinner. It's just whatever pairs with the De Beer paint. That's hardener for the clear coat, and then there's our colour. That's the code 3 and 2. So what I've been doing is I've used an orbital sander with 60 to 80 grit pads. It's a 5-inch orbital sander to sand all that bog back, and then in between that I've been using this here thing. I don't know even what you call this, but It's like, that's 80 grit there. And I just use it to run a straight edge up and down. It's a straight edge, so it's much nicer and a bit more easy on the like straight edges, so you don't put divots like with the circular orbital thing. Gives you a bit more level surface. And now what I'm doing is on these spots that I have to blend, like up in here, got to hit it. You can see I started scratching it. 320 grit wet sandpaper, and scratch around all the surface you want to do, and then just mask off where you want to blend to. So, the rest of the inside is all almost back to bare metal. I've still got a little bit of, over there. You want to have that as bare and shiny as possible. So I've just been using the wire wheel to take that off. What else? I think, I've obviously cleaned everything out, like give it a good blowdown. You need to use wax and grease remover to rub down the whole thing before you paint it.
Style.
Well, the interior is in. Geez, I haven't videoed any of this at all. It's all the same as how I pulled it out. It's really self-explanatory. The only thing I've had to do is cut down up in that corner, meets the hood lining. Had to cut down the hood lining and the carpet. Everything else self-explanatory, easy as. I'm about to put the seats in, and then I've got to put in the cab vents, glue them in with windscreen glue. I've got to put in the back window, which will take a while, but it is what it is. Then it's pretty much ready to be engineered, so then it'll be heading off to gets engineered, bring it back, do the tray. So I've got school in 2 days. Yeah.